statistician. He's coached down at John Baptist, been around the Baptist program for a long time. But more importantly, Bob, you've been around basketball for a long, long time. I don't know what that means, whether you're old or not, but it does mean
right. Absolutely.
It does mean you like the game. Let's talk a little bit about Class B, where we're at right now. Let's start with the B girls. This game tonight pretty pivotal between John Baptist and Foxcroft girls.
It certainly is. I think John Baptist coming in at 8-7 tonight. Foxcroft certainly needs a win to get in a prelim. Get in the conversation of a prelim game. I know they're I think right on the outside looking in right now. So. But then you look at Class B girls this year, and I think even the same with the boys, is that you probably have Caribou that's a favorite, and then probably about 2 through 11, 12, maybe 13, any given night anybody can beat anybody.
Let's talk about that on the. Let's go back to the boys' side now. Things you talked about Caribou, but last night John Baptist had a great game down at Ellsworth, lost in overtime. Baptist on the outside looking in playoff-wise, but it doesn't seem to matter this year where you are. Class B is just jumbled at this point.
Oh, no question. Again, John Baptist kids played their hearts out last night, and the game could have gone either way. And Colby Haggerty hit a 3 at the end of regulation to send the game into overtime, and then fell Ellsworth 1 by 1. Late, but kids certainly battled, and again, Baptist 4-11 on the boys' side. But other than maybe a couple of ball games this year, they've been competitive in every single game.
And looking at another overtime game last night, Herman-Orono boys. Orono, of course, the defending state champions, two-time defending state champions. Starting to play some pretty good basketball right now. I know they had a little lull midway through the season, but they've won 5 straight and probably going to be a dangerous team come playoff time. They're a very well-coached team.
Yes, they are. Yes, the key for them, too, they had a little bit of a struggle beginning about January, too. They lost their point guard for a few games in Brady Hughes. He really makes that team go, and he's a very probably one of the top point guards in our conference.
Let's move on to Class C. A lot of Class C schools around our local area here in the Dover-Foxcroft area. But on the girls' side, Penobscot Valley girls and Mattanock girls seem to be kind of on a collision course there for 1 and 2 in C. But there's also some other teams in there that want to make some noise come playoff time.
Yeah, I would certainly say those two are probably the cream of the crop, particularly Penobscot Valley. They've got length, they've got athleticism. They could shoot the basketball very well. They don't really have a weakness at all. And then, Mattanock Academy, outside of the loss to Penobscot Valley, has been very dominant this year. The other team to look out for, too, in Class C girls might be Mount View, a team that we really don't get to see a lot. They play a lot of Class B schools out of the Kennebec Valley Athletic Conference, but they're certainly a team that's got some size, and they've got some really nice wins this year. They lost to a really good Madomic team by 2. They beat Erskine this year as well, who's a very solid team in Class B. So, but I would think those 3 teams certainly the cream of the crop. And I think you look at Dexter as about a 6 or 7 seed. They could be a very dangerous draw for somebody as well.
The way they play defense, the way they are very structured under Coach Jody Grant, defending state champs, could be a dangerous team. Let's move to the boys' side of Class C. Mattanock boys right now unbeaten, putting up a lot of points. But a couple teams up north with Madawaska, Fort Kent. Who knows what's going to happen come Class C tournament time. Yeah,
big ball game tonight up in Madawaska, undefeated Madawaska. And I had a chance to see them earlier this year at Central Aroostook. 8th grader Quinn Pelletier really took that team on his back at the end of regulation in overtime. He hit a 3 at the top of the key to send the game into overtime, and then scored all of their, I believe it was 15 points in overtime up at Central Aroostook that night. But they got a big ball game with Hodgson tonight, and that's another team to look out for in Bangor. But I would say the top 5 would be Mattanock, Machias, and then those 3 Aroostook County teams in Madawaska, Hodgson, and then you also got Fort Kent too with the Jeffers kid. That's very, very good.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing some of those teams come to Bangor, especially if you don't get a chance to see them. But yeah, Quinn Pelletier, an 8th grader, and he's tearing it up for the Owls up in Madawaska. Class D, quick look on the boys' side. Skank right now are the number 1 team. Bangor Christian got a big win the other night over Dexter to kind of get off the schneid. And the Patriots did this last year where they started to play real well down the stretch. Who knows? It might be those 2 teams in the regional final again come February 22nd.
Very well could be. I know Bangor Christian had real high expectations coming into this year, and really, hadn't played real well against the real good teams this year, and then got that real resounding win against Dexter the other night. They've got a big ball game at Machias this coming, actually tomorrow night. So I would certainly not count Bangor Christian out of the mix either. They've got a real good guard in Rajon Reed, and then also Jesse Booker, who had an outstanding tournament, was an all-tournament selection last year. They're certainly going to be reckoned with when it comes tournament time.
Class D girls side, you mentioned Bangor Christian. Their girls team playing very, very well under Coach Kevin Reed. The Shed girls right now, they've split during the regular season. It's not going to be the Southern Aroostook Invitational like it seems to have been over the last dozen years.
No, I think one thing you look at girls basketball this year, certainly two of the favorites coming in, Ellsworth in Class B, and then Southern Aroostook in Class D. Certainly injuries, keeping that ship afloat.